Hello. Welcome back to the channel and welcome back to more football. This is going to be the first part of my Euro 2024 series. I will be doing this. I'll be doing a predictions video, and what I plan to do is every day I will recap the games that have been played. We'll go through the scores, have a look at the table. I'm going to try my best to stick to a schedule. I can't 100%. I can't 100% guarantee that I will, but I will do my very best to keep up to date with everything. But yeah, I'll do my best. If I can't do it, then I do apologise. But yeah, this is England's 26-man squad for Euro 2024. Before I get into my opinion on the squad and England's chances, I know there's a lot of people that don't like England, whether it be because we're rivals or, people just think, oh, England think they're always going to win it, blah, 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 they're always arrogant, cocky, I'm sick of hearing it's coming home and all that. Or even, I don't know, because Britain tried to colonise pretty much the whole world, that people have got a vendetta out for us. I understand that there are people like that, but I can understand that the England fans can be cocky and arrogant, but, what is the point in going, oh, I don't think we've really got a chance? What is the point in that? You've got to think that you're the best team in the competition. What's the point in going to a competition and being like, we're not going to win it? You've got to have that mentality or you never will. There's going to be half of the video where you're going to think I'm arrogant English bloke or cocky this, blah, 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 blah. And then the second half, you're going to be like, oh, yeah, well, I'll definitely agree with that, blah, blah, blah. That's how I feel this video is going to go. But I'm going to jump straight into it. The first half of this video, I'm going to be concentrating on our attackers. Now, this is the part where you're probably going to disagree and think I'm being cocky, but I, hand on my heart, think that we have one of the best attacking forces in the world. You can't tell me otherwise. You can't, you can't change my mind on that. And the reasons are as followed. Right, we've got Harry Kane, the best striker in Europe, bar none. He's won the European Golden Boot. He smashed it at Bayern Munich, goals wise. He was just off the charts. He was superb. Obviously, the Tottenham curse followed him and Bayern Munich didn't win anything. But you can't deny his talent. He's probably got this and probably one more World Cup in him. I really do think that he's absolutely superb. And then you carry on and you look down. You've got Saka. Sorry, I just want to get the stats up for each player. You have Saka. Right. Where's this? There we go. 16 goals, 9 assists in the Premier League for Arsenal. I mean, that is a great return for him. He played absolutely superb. He does seem to be the scapegoat when we lose, though, which is a bit of a... I want to say it's a bit of a piss take, really. But I, you know what I mean, 16 goals, 9 assists for a winger. He's not even a striker. I think he's a superb winger. I think he's a great player. And then we move down. We've got Phil Foden. Phil Foden, 19 goals, 8 assists, 5 goals and 3 assists in the Champions League. He was voted the player of the season for the Premier League. Thoroughly deserved it. I mean, he's an amazing player, and he needs to be put in that squad 100%. Whether that be on the wing, behind the striker, you can't deny his talent. For me, I think he's a key player. I think if you can get Phil Foden playing well and in the right position, you've got the world in your hands. If we then look at Ivan Toney, considering Ivan Toney missed half the season because of his whole betting thing, so we didn't play as many. He got 4 goals, 2 assists in 17 matches. It's not a great return, but I think he's there for a penalty taker. Really, he ain't gonna get much time. He has been a goal machine for Brentford. I don't think he's going to stay at Brentford this summer. I think he'll go to one of the top clubs, and he'll be amazing for him. He can take a penalty. He can score goals. Then you move down to probably my favourite player in the England squad, Anthony Gordon, because I'm a Newcastle fan. If we look at his stats, 11 goals, 10 assists. I mean, that's pretty balanced. He can create and he can score. I would put him in the same stratosphere as Saka. I think he's a secret weapon. I don't think people realise how good he actually is, because unless, like, I'm a Newcastle fan, if you watch him week in, week out, superb player. As I said, he can get assists, he can score, he can do what Jack Grealish can do. He gets fouled a lot. I know there are a bit of negative detractors that say that he goes down a bit easy, more so to get penalties. I can understand that. I'm not going to argue against that, but the way I see it is he plays by the letter of the law. Once the rules change, he'll probably cut that out of his game, but he's putting himself in positions to get penalties that are penalties by the letter of the law, but are a bit dodgy, you know what I mean? But he's playing it. He's playing the odds. He's playing the rules, and a lot of teams would want a player like him. When he first came to Newcastle, he didn't really impress me. But then as time went on, and he just changed into a completely different player, and I think he really is I think he's a secret weapon. Will he play? I'm not 100% sure on that one. I think as we go through the rest of the attackers, attacking wise, I think we're pretty stacked there, and I think it will be a case of maybe rotation might be needed. And then we move down to Ollie Watkins. Now, Ollie Watkins, yes, Ollie Watkins is a superb striker. Sorry. He's a superb striker. If I just scroll down, 19 goals, 13 assists. That is unreal. That is absolutely unreal. To get that in the Premier League, I mean, Villa finished 4th as well, and that is mad. That is, if Harry Kane wasn't on form, Watkins would be the starting striker 100%. I think his hold-up play needs a bit of work. obviously he's a great assister and a great goal scorer. I think he's one of those players though who will like have an amazing period and then he'll go missing a bit and then he'll have another amazing period, and that is kind of worrying because in a competition like this you've 3 group stage games, then you've got the round of 16, quarter final, semi final. You've got 7 games. You've got to be up and running straight away, and that's where I think maybe he's going to be a bench player. He's not going to come on. I think he's above Ivan Toney 100%. I don't think there's any doubt on that. So with Harry Kane and up front, Watkins will be, but he just needs to hit the ground running, and I really do hope that he does. Sorry about that. The ring cam kept going off, but someone's just doing some work over the house opposite. So yeah, Ollie Watkins. I think if Harry Kane doesn't start, Ollie Watkins will. I'd like to see Ollie Watkins get some minutes. Depends how well Harry Kane's playing, really. Then we move on to Jared Bowen. I would like him at Newcastle. I think he's a great player. I think we should have tried to get him before he went to West Ham. 16 goals, 6 assists. Again, he's been playing up front a lot. And then he plays on the wings as well. He's versatile. Another player that I don't think he's getting in ahead of Gordon, Foden, Kane or Saka. Maybe even Cole Palmer. But he's a very good player. He can hold the ball up. He's great on the ball, and I think 100% he can be dangerous. And I would again, he's a player I would like to see get some game time, but depends how well other players are playing. And if we go to Eze, he's had a really good back end of the season for Crystal Palace. Crystal Palace I think they've got Eze, I think Wharton, and where is it? Mark Gay. They back end of the season they were unreal. They were ripping teams apart. I think they beat Newcastle 2-0 as well. If they'd have just had a run a bit earlier, they could have shot straight up the table. But Eze is a really good player. He's getting on the older side. I mean, I know he's only 25, but if you know what I mean, like 4 or 5 years ago, if he was playing for England, I think he'd have been a top talent. I think maybe he's broken a bit too late, but I think it's great that Gareth Southgate's not picking the same old. Like, you haven't got Henderson, you haven't got Calvin Phillips. Maguire did miss out due to injuries, but yeah, I think he can be another player that can do well for us. And then we move on to Cole Palmer, who I can't believe Man City let go. I think he would fit into their team now. He got 22 goals and 11 assists. He is another player, though, I think he's a bit of a penalty merchant. He's a great player, don't get me wrong, but I think that's part of the reason why he's picked as well, because you've got Kane, Tony, Palmer, Jude Bellingham. I would assume he would be a good penalty taker. And yeah, I think 22 goals, even if I think 9 of them were penalties, but you can, if you got a penalty and you're taking it, you're going to score, aren't you? A lot of Tony's goals are penalties. I think he is a superb talent. He's 22. He could play for the next 5 or 6 years, next couple of tournaments for us. But honestly, yeah, I think you look at those attackers, I think we've got a great attack. I would put that up against France, I'd put it up against Germany and Spain, even Italy. Italy didn't even qualify for the World Cup. Spain haven't really done anything of note lately. We lost to France in the World Cup, but I think that was more because Harry Kane missed a penalty rather than France being that much better than us. And Germany have been off the boil for a while now. They really need a good shake up, and well, the Euros is in Germany, so they're going to need to have a really good tournament. And then if you go back behind us, Declan Rice, I think he was overpriced for what Arsenal paid, but he's a superb defensive midfielder. He will sit back and he will defend the defence, for lack of a better term. Jude Bellingham, he went to Real Madrid and he was lighting up the league. He was a top scorer. He was banging in the goals. I think he's another very dangerous player for us. Like, if he's on form, I think he's unplayable. Conor Gallagher, I'm a bit... I don't think he's that great. Adam Wharton, I haven't really seen anything of him. I know he came back to Crystal Palace and played well, but awesome. And then we got Kobe Mainu, and I don't think he should have been picked. I think the reason he was picked is because we didn't want to lose into, I don't know what African nationality he's got, but I think he's just picked because of that. He was in a Man United squad that, let's face it, it was poor the whole season. They were poor the whole season, and they still managed to get Europa League because they turned up on the last game of the season against Man City. Fully deserved. They deserved to win it. I'm not going to take it away from them, but they showed up and got Europe, and it's like, you didn't show up most of the rest of the season. And I think he looked better because of the team he was playing in. I think if you put him in the Man City squad, or you put him in Chelsea squad even, or if you put him in like Liverpool, I think he just goes missing. I don't think he's quite ready. But I could be proven wrong, and he could be player of the tournament. So who knows? So yeah, that is me ending the very positive of the squad. I honestly think that midfield and that attack, I think we've got probably the best in Europe. I know that sounds arrogant, but there's goals, there's assists, there's just great general play. You've got Foden and Gordon, who can be unplayable. You've got Declan Rice, who's a great anchor. You've got Jude Bellingham, who another player that can be unplayable. You've got Ollie Watkins, who's a goal machine. You've got Ivan Toney, who can score goals. You've got Cole Palmer, who can score goals. I think we're a massive threat. And anyone just discounting us and going, oh, cocky England, cocky arrogant England, oh, it's coming home and all that. You can't look at that and tell me that ain't superb. But then, once you go from attack to midfield and then to the defence and the keepers, I think that's where lies a massive weakness. If you look at the goalkeepers and the defenders, we do not have one world-class player. Whereas in attack, we've got Kane, Bellingham, Foden, but like Kyle Walker, great right back, quick, physical, and then that's where it starts to fall off. You've got Luke Shaw, who hasn't played a game since February and has been injured and has been included, when if you're bringing Wharton and Mainu and Palmer and all these youngsters, why couldn't you have just given the left back job to a youngster? I mean, he probably wouldn't be ready for it, but Lewis Hall at Newcastle, back end of the season, he slotted in and he was great. Dan Burn has been superb for us. I think there are issues with him, but He can play left back, he can play centre back as well. John Stones, I think he's a solid defender. Obviously, he was in Man City's title winning team. Played a lot of games. He's a great defender. I think he's our best centre back option. You got Mark Gay, who again had a great back end of the season with Crystal Palace, but is he gonna be any good? Trent Alexander-Arnold, I think he's one of them. I think he may push between right back and maybe even he might even try and slot him in at left back, because we are a bit light at left back because we've only got Luke Shaw, who we don't even know if he's going to be fit enough. But then Trent Alexander-Arnold, going forward, he's got a good free kick, he's got a good foot on him, he can pass and assist, but he can't defend. He can't defend for love nor money, and I think we're going to struggle there. Kieran Trippier, solid player, good player. I think he is more. He can play left back and right back. I think he might start at left back for the tournament. He's got a great foot on him for free kicks and corners and crosses and stuff like that. My only worry with Trippier is he was great the first half of the season, and then the back end of the season, he just disappeared. There was something happened over Christmas, and there was some issue that he could not resolve, because the back end of the season he just wasn't the same player. He was giving away tons of goals. I think we had when we played Chelsea, and ball comes over, easy ball, just clear it, messes it up. Chelsea equalise, then Chelsea go on to beat us. There was a game where we played against Everton. I think we lost 3-0, and he was at fault for all 3 goals. But obviously we had injury problems, so could you drop him for? Konsa, a decent player. He can play right back, he can play in the centre. I'm sure he could probably play left back as well if we needed him to. He was in Villa's team, who finished 4th, so great for him. I think he's a solid defender. I think he deserves a call up. Lewis Dunk, I just don't see it. I don't think Dunk's a very good player. I think he's overrated. Brighton just completely fallen off, and if it ends up having to be like Duncan Stones in the centre, I mean, I don't think it's definitely John Stones, and I think it's between Gay and Konsa. I can't really see Dunk playing. Same with Joe Gomez. He was alright for Liverpool. Nothing special, didn't stand out. But then when you're playing next to what people argue is one of the best defenders in the world, Van Dijk, you can't compare the two, can you? I don't know, I'm unsure about Joe Gomez. I mean, I think Walker, Stones, Trippier, possibly Konsa. I think that will be... I would put that as my back 4 out of them, but we don't have any world-class players in defence. We used to have like John Terry, Rio Ferdinand, Tony Adams. We haven't got that anymore. Sol Campbell. We just don't have that anymore, and I think the defence... I think it will come down to the attacking quality that we have. We'll have to compensate for the defence, because I think we're very suspect in defence, whereas other teams like France have got solid defence. I know Germany haven't exactly been great, but they've got solid defence. We don't have a set defence, and we've got Luke Shaw, who's injured. We've got Gomez, Dunk and Gay, who are new to the England setup, and I think it will be a struggle. I really do. And then we go to the goalkeepers. We have Jordan Pickford, who I don't rate. People say, oh, when he pulls on an England shirt. Again, we ain't got a world-class goalkeeper. I can't think of anyone that is a world-class keeper. I just can't for England. I think Pickford can be suspect at times. Hopefully he isn't tested too much. And then you've got Aaron Ramsdale, who barely played last season. I think he probably played, like, if he played 10 games, I'd be surprised. I mean, I'll have a look now, actually. But if he played 10 games, I'll be shocked. Where is this stuff? He played 6 Premier League games, 1 Champions League, 2 EFL. He played in the FA Community Shield and the Emirates Cup. It's a 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 games, but you could argue 6, 7, 8, 9 are worthwhile. He got replaced by David Raya. I don't know, obviously Arteta saw something in Ramsdale and was like, I don't think he's good enough. I think Ramsdale's way too good to sit on the bench. But the fact that he hasn't played is a massive red flag for us. And then you got Dean Henderson. I think he was injured for a fair bit of the season as well, because he only played 18 Premier League games for Palace. Again, I think he's a good goalkeeper, but he's not. He's a good backup, but I wouldn't. If we had to rely on him, I'd be a bit worried. What gets me is I think Nick Pope is better than Henderson. I know he was injured the back end and he played the last game, but you're picking Luke Shaw, so Pope probably wouldn't get a game unless Pickford got injured anyway. So, like, why couldn't Pope go instead of Henderson or Ramsdale? At least Pope's played. But yeah, I think from the midfield to the attack, I don't think there's anyone better. From the keepers to the defenders, I worry. I think that is where it's going to come down to. If you get some world-class players against that back line, I think they'll crumble. I think we can win the Euros. I think we've just got to really eliminate the mistakes as little as possible, and I think we need our attacking force. They need to be on fire. They need to be smashing in goals and winning games for us, because keepers and defenders, I think, we're suspect. I think they'll still be in the same position in the World Cup. Attacking and midfield, superb. Keepers, defenders, I don't know any young, good, up-and-coming defenders or keepers that England can look to the future for. I may be wrong, but that's just my opinion. Yeah, I think we can win it. I think we could win the Euros. But it all depends on that defence. But yeah, that's my thoughts on the England squad. That is my thoughts on our chances for the Euros. If you have enjoyed this video, then please like, comment, subscribe, ring the notification bell. I'm going to try my best to do videos for every day of the Euros, like just going back over the games, maybe watching some highlights or two. I don't know. I don't think YouTube will allow me to do that. I think they will get marked up, but I'll at least go through the games. I'm going to be watching as many as possible so I can give my insights to the games and what's going on. But yeah, that is it for this video. Have a good day, have a good afternoon, have a good evening, or have a good night, and I shall catch you guys again in the next video. See you later. Bye bye.